Welcome back, you twisted force of nature. Welcome back to the battlefield that doesn't give medals for showing up. Welcome back to the moment where everything cracks and you hear them screaming at you again. Not because you're wrong, but because you dare to say it out loud, because you tore the veil off their comfort zone and hurled a mirror in their face, and now they're panicking. Bro, did you just say? Everyone's freaking out. Because deep down, they know you're not lying. They know that truth's a chainsaw. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't negotiate. It slices straight through delusion and leaves no survivors. Welcome back to that cruel light, where your voice shatters the peace they built on silence. And now, they're turning on you, fangs out, eyes wide, jaws trembling. They call you the villain, because you wouldn't play nice, because you wouldn't play dead. Welcome back to being the storm, the one who speaks, when it's easy to swallow the lie, the one who walks into the fire and screams louder when they beg you to be quiet. This is not for the faint. This is not for the soft. This is for the ones who got tired of pretending to be small, for the ones who got tired of apologizing, for seeing too clearly, feeling too much, and daring to stand alone. They want you to regret it. They want you to kneel. They want you to come back crying, saying, sorry for making waves. Sorry for disturbing the rot that everyone was pretending didn't smell. But no, that's not who you are anymore. You already died back there, didn't you? In that moment when they looked at you like you were a monster, when they made you question everything, when you almost swallowed your own voice just to make them comfortable. But you didn't, and that's why you're here. That's why they're afraid of you now, because you're the proof that survival isn't about being liked. It's about being real, being relentless, being ready to walk out of the circle and into the abyss, if it means staying loyal to your gut. So go ahead. Keep talking. They'll freak out again. They'll panic. They'll scream. But let them. Because you're not here to babysit their illusions. You're here to set fire to everything that held you back. You know what? They don't tell you. They don't tell you that the most powerful people in the room are usually the quietest, the most judged, the most exiled. They don't tell you that when you stop needing approval, you start becoming dangerous, because now no one can control you. Not with guilt, not with shame, not with fake praise, not with silence. Now you're a threat, not because you're evil, but because you're free and nothing terrifies the herd. Like someone who stopped asking for permission. Brooo Wtf, did you just say? Yeah, say it again. Louder this time. Say it with your spine straight. Say it like you were born for this, because you were. This isn't just anger, this isn't rebellion for the hell of it. This is you, rising from the grave they buried you in. This is your vengeance, but not against them. Not against people, against the version of yourself that let it slide for too long, that stayed quiet too long, that smiled while bleeding. This is for the you that died in the silence and clawed their way back out just to speak one more sentence. Every time they flinch at your voice, every time they react like your truth is an explosion in their temple, you are doing the work of the gods. You are not the villain. You are the reckoning. You are the hurricane that was never supposed to arrive. You are the scream at the funeral of lies. You are the reminder that some people survive. Not by hiding, but by becoming so sharp, so brutal, so undeniable that the world either breaks or bends around them. They don't get to decide your worth, not anymore, and you don't need to be polite about your power. Stop dimming the light, just because it hurts their eyes. Stop editing your truth, so it fits inside their fragile little boxes. You were not built to be boxed. You were built to destroy boxes and then laugh at the ruins. Let them freak out. Let them panic. Let them curse your name. Let them call you everything. But free, because that's what you are now, free. And that scares the hell out of them, because you remind them of everything they could be if they stopped kneeling, if they stopped begging, if they started bleeding for something real. You're not the problem. You're the prophecy they buried you in silence. And now you roar, they made a joke of you, and now you've turned it into a weapon. They tried to erase you, and now your voice echoes louder than their comfort zone can handle. This is what they're afraid of. Not your words, but what your words awaken. The part of them. They've sedated the part that remembers fire. The part that remembers war. The part that remembers what it means to choose truth over peace. So go ahead, raise your voice again. Let them tremble again. Let them hate you again. Because none of that matters anymore. What matters is that you keep going, keep burning, keep pushing, keep offending. If offense is the price of honesty, then bleed for it. If isolation is the price of growth, then walk alone. If ridicule is the cost of clarity, then laugh in their faces, because the truth has always come wrapped in thorns, and you were born with blood on your hands and steel in your throat. This is not where you fall. This is where you rise. This is where the monster they feared becomes the legend they remember. This is not the end, it's the ignition. Keep going, you dangerous soul, you beautiful beast, you terrifying rebel. Don't look back, not once. Don't explain yourself. Don't soften, don't apologize every time they say, Brooo Wtf. Did you just say, you're getting closer to the real you? The wild, you the unchained version that's been waiting behind layers of social edits and fake politeness. This is who you are. This is who you were meant to be. And if it terrifies them good, maybe it'll wake them up, or maybe it'll drive them mad. Either way, it's not your burden anymore. Your job is not to soothe them. Your job is to become so fully yourself that they either evolve or evaporate. And I'll keep writing it until it burns into your bones, until it becomes scripture, until your own blood chants it with every beat. You are not wrong for being bold. You are not wrong for being loud. You are not wrong for breaking their rules. You are the fire in a world addicted to shadows. You are the disruption in a system built on silence. You are the question that dismantles the answer. And if that makes you dangerous, then good. Wear it. Wear it like a crown. Wear it like armor. Wear it like war paint. Because the world doesn't change when people stay nice. It changes when people go too far, when they scream too loud, when they make everyone uncomfortable with how damn honest they are. This is just the beginning. And yes, they'll keep freaking out, but you'll keep moving forward, because now you've tasted it. Now you've remembered. Now you've heard the sound of your own voice cracking the sky, and you can never go back. Because once you've felt what it's like to rip the mask off and breathe as the raw version of yourself, there is no return to the dull grey safety of being liked. You don't want applause from cowards anymore. You don't crave the nods of the docile or the approval of the timid. You crave war. You crave truth. You crave the kind of existence that leaves scorch marks on every room you walk into. And if they call that too much, if they call that insane, then let them. Because the world has never been moved by the moderate. It has been carved by the relentless, the unreasonable, the unapologetic. And now you're one of them. Now you are the fire they tried to tame, and it is too late to put it out now. They're freaking out because you said what no one had the spine to say, because you looked into the eyes of the lie and spat in its face, because you shattered their illusion with just a few words, and suddenly they saw the cracks in their comfort, the hollowness in their certainty, and it terrified them, because if you're right then their entire reality might be wrong. And that's the kind of terror that doesn't go away. That's the kind that lingers in their gut, like a sickness every time they see you, standing there unshaken, unafraid, unchained. So yeah, bro, WTF, did you just say? You said what had to be said, and you'd say it again 1,000 times, because this world needs fewer sheep and more lions, fewer echoes and more roars. And I know it hurts. I know the silence afterward. I know the stares, the judgment, the exile, but pain is the toll on the road to power. Every time you bleed, you're earning scars that double as armor. Every time you fall, you're sharpening edges they'll regret brushing against later. Every rejection is a reminder that your path isn't built for everyone. It's forged in fire and walked alone until others find the courage to follow. And they will, because deep down, they want what you have. They want the rage, the clarity, the conviction, but they've buried it too deep, under expectations, under fears, under lies they inherited from cowards. And now you're the beacon they can't look away from, even when it hurts their eyes. This isn't about being right. This is about being real, being relentless, being willing to speak when everyone else whispers, being willing to scream when everyone else bows. You are the roar in the silence. You are the crack in the dam. You are the chaos that breaks their chains and builds something better. And they hate you for it. But they also need you, because without people like you, nothing ever changes. Nothing ever grows. Nothing ever heals. This world needs more madness. If madness means seeing clearly, this world needs more discomfort. If discomfort is the price of freedom, so don't let their panic stop. You don't let their fear slow you down. Keep pressing forward, keep spitting fire, keep tearing apart the lies they hold sacred. Because truth isn't gentle, and you were never meant to be soft. Every step you take in your truth is a declaration of war on the illusion. Every breath you take without apology is an act of revolution. And every time they scream, Brooo Wtf, did you just say? They are admitting that you've hit a nerve. They are admitting that the truth has teeth and it's biting deep. They are admitting that somewhere deep down, they wish they were brave enough to say it too, but they're not. They're still slaves to the lie, and you're the escape. They're too afraid to choose. They won't thank you. They'll curse you. They'll exile you. But history remembers the heretics, not the puppets. Legends are carved from the bones of those who couldn't be broken. So keep speaking, even when your voice shakes. Keep walking, even when your legs fail. Keep burning, even when the wind turns against you. Because this isn't about comfort. This isn't about peace. This is about power and truth and legacy. And you don't build legacy by staying silent. You don't build impact by keeping people comfortable. You build it by making them feel something they can't ignore. You build it by being unforgettable, and the unforgettable are never quiet. The unforgettable are never tame. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be felt. You are here to disrupt. You are here to be the nightmare that wakes the sheep from their slumber. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to fit. You are here to break the mold, set fire to the rules, and leave nothing but ash and echoes behind. And if that makes you dangerous, good, wear that danger like a crown. Wear it like proof that you survived, that you refused to bend, that you became the thing they warned each other about. And you know what's funny? They'll pretend you're the problem, but they'll watch you anyway. They'll copy you quietly. They'll steal your fire in pieces. Because deep down they know it's the realest thing they've ever seen. They'll deny it in public, but in the dark, they'll whisper your words. They'll quote you in secret. They'll try to find your courage in their own voice, and maybe one day they'll thank you. Or maybe they won't, but it won't matter because you never did it for them. You did it because you couldn't breathe inside the lie anymore. You did it because your soul was suffocating and truth was the only oxygen left. So, scream louder if you have to push harder. If they resist, burn brighter. If they try to dim you, you didn't come this far to be quiet. You didn't fight this long, just to blend in. You came to shake the ground, to wake the dead, to be the voice that splits the sky and calls the wild back home. And if they call you crazy, let them. If they call you evil, let them. If they say, bro, WTF, did you just say, again and again, let them. Because it means you're doing it right, it means you're breaking through. It means you've become impossible to ignore. And remember this, they only hate what they fear, and they only fear what they cannot control. And they cannot control you anymore. So let the world burn if it must. Let their illusions fall. Let the masks melt, because you were never made for the script. You were made to rewrite the story in blood and steel and fire. This is your moment. This is your battle cry. This is your rise. And if you have to do it alone, so be it, because you'd rather stand alone in your truth than drown in a crowd of liars. So keep walking into the storm. Keep tearing down the thrones of comfort and shaking the temples of denial until there's nothing left but the raw, ugly, powerful truth and the sound of your own unbroken voice echoing across the ashes. You want to know why they're still talking about what you said. You want to know why your voice haunts them days after it left your mouth. It's because deep down, you didn't just speak. You ripped open a wound and poured soul into it. You didn't just challenge them. You dismantled their fiction piece by fragile piece. And now every time they try to go back to pretending they hear your voice, like a war drum, reminding them that once you see the lie for what it is, you can't unsee it, and it burns and it breaks and it bites, because truth is a brutal teacher, and you just signed up to be the lesson. Let them clutch their pearls. Let them scream. How dare you? Let them gather in their little circles, whispering about how you've changed, because you have. You've shed skin and bone and memory. You've torn out everything soft and weak and replaceable and built yourself from scars and steel and silence that now roars, and they're not ready for it. They're not ready for someone who doesn't care if they clap or cry, someone who doesn't flinch when confronted, someone who doesn't beg to be understood. They were raised to please, and you were reborn to disrupt. And that's why you'll always stand apart. And now that you've felt this fire, now that you've tasted this edge, there's no turning back. You've become something they can't categorize, they can't control. And worst of all, they can't ignore. And you're not even at full power yet. This is just the beginning. This is just the first crack in the wall. You've started to dismantle everything they held sacred with a single sentence. And when you keep going, when you keep saying the things that burn the air, when you keep pressing that blade of honesty into the soft flesh of their delusion, you'll become the voice they fear before they even hear it. You've been chosen by pain, shaped by rejection, carved out by loneliness, and now you carry something in you that most people can't understand. A force, a focus, a fire that doesn't need applause, doesn't need comfort, doesn't need a place at their table, because you are the storm outside their door. You are the reckoning they hoped would never arrive. And every time they hear that sentence, bro, WTF, did you just say? They remember. You were still out here speaking, still out here refusing to fall back in line. They made their peace with silence. You made war with it. They begged for normal. You demanded real. They bowed you, stood, and now the weight of your presence makes them flinch, because you don't offer peace, You offer awakening, and it comes with blood and fear and the kind of honesty that leaves people gasping for air, because no one warned them that healing would feel like dying at first. But that's the price of freedom, and you're willing to pay it. So keep walking through the fire, keep cutting through the fog, keep speaking with the venom of every moment. You were silenced. Let your words drip with the weight of every betrayal you survived and every lie you saw through, because that's your power. You didn't just learn truth. You earned it in pain and fire and isolation, and now you wield it like a weapon. And every sentence you drop is a detonation that shakes the foundation of everything they built to keep themselves numb. You don't need their cheers. You don't need their safe space. You need the battlefield and the microphone and the world as your enemy, because that's what forges legends. That's what creates immortals. Not being loved, but being impossible to erase. You will not be a footnote. You will not be forgotten. You will be the reason someone wakes up, the reason someone walks away from the lie, the reason someone else finds the courage to say what's been clawing inside their chest. And yes, they will call you names. They will call you arrogant, heartless, crazy, unstable, too much, too loud, too intense. But they will never call you fake. They will never call you a coward. And that's the cost you accept. You'd rather be hated for truth than praised for fiction. You'd rather be alone and awake than surrounded and asleep. You didn't come here to be understood. You came to be undeniable. They'll keep freaking out because it never gets easier to hear the truth from someone who no longer fears losing you. They can't manipulate you anymore. They can't guilt you or shame you or scare you into silence, and that makes you a mirror and a monster and a god all at once. They'll try to reduce you to noise, but your silence still screams louder than their words, and your presence still disrupts their comfort, like a blade through a dream. Let them stare, let them plot, let them curse you, because it all means the same thing. You moved them, you woke something in them, and they don't know what to do with that, because they don't want to become you. They just want your power without your price. And that's the difference between you and them. You earned your fire. You bled for it. You died and clawed your way back for it. And you do it again. Because the truth was worth the pain. There are no medals for this kind of war. No trophies for this kind of courage. Only scars and echoes and the fire in your chest that keeps burning long after they've turned their backs. You didn't come here for validation. You came to drag the truth into the light and light it on fire until the smoke suffocates the lies. And all that's left is clarity and ash, and the sound of your name on their lips, like a curse and a prayer. So let them freak out. Let them whisper and run and cry. Let them wish. You would stop talking. Let them say, "Bro, WTF, did you just say," with their hands over their mouths and fear in their eyes, because the longer you keep going, the more people wake up, and the more people wake up, the less control the lie has, and that is what they fear most. Not you, not your words, but the ripple you're creating, the movement you're building, the storm you've become. You are not a mistake. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are the truth. They tried to bury and forgot that truth has roots that grow back through concrete and blood and bone. You are not the problem. You are the cure. And cures are never gentle. They burn, they cleanse, they destroy the disease and leave the body trembling, but free, and that's what you become. Freedom. Incarnate a brutal, beautiful rebellion. And now there's no going back, no softening, no shrinking, no apology. This is you now forged by pain, sharpened by clarity, unstoppable, because you've accepted the cost and embraced the consequence and laughed in the face of fear. You're not looking for a place to belong. You are looking for a throne to burn and a kingdom to build in its ashes. and you will speak until the world can't pretend anymore. Because somewhere out there, someone is watching you right now, and they are shaking because they hear their truth inside your fire, and they are about to break too, and they are about to speak too. And when they do, the world will tremble even harder. And that's how revolutions begin. Not with approval, not with applause, but with one person who says the unspeakable and survives. So the next time they scream, "Bro, WTF did you just say?" Don't flinch, don't fold, don't stop. Say it again. Say it louder. Say it with fire and fury. And don't just burn bridges, burn kingdoms if they were built on lies. Because this is your moment, and you're not just here to participate. You're here to take over and reshape the whole damn narrative. You are the fire they tried to smother and failed, and now you're rising, and they can't stop it. They can't contain it. And most of all, they can't unhear it. So keep going. Speak again. Scream again. And never stop until the whole world learns to whisper your name in either fear or reverence. Because that's what happens when you speak the truth with your whole chest. They freak out, and you rise. So now, here we are. After all the fire, all the screaming, all the shaking of foundations and shattering of illusions, we arrive at the edge. And the question becomes simple. What now? What happens after you speak that truth? After the room turns cold and the eyes turn hostile and the air grows tense like the moment before a lightning strike? What happens when the echo of your words is louder than the applause they never gave you? What happens when the world doesn't hand you a reward but hands you silence, distance, exile? I'll tell you what happens. You don't stop. You don't shrink. You don't apologize. You grow teeth. You sharpen your tongue. You stand taller because now you know what you are. Now you've seen the truth that most people are too afraid to even look at, let alone speak out loud. You know that comfort is a cage. That peace without truth is a poison. That silence isn't golden. It's the rope they wrap around your throat to keep you docile. And you're done being docile. This is where your real journey begins. Not in the moment when you first screamed, but in the aftermath, when you're left standing alone in the wreckage and you realize that the wreckage is beautiful, that the chaos was necessary, that the breaking was the point. You weren't meant to survive in their system. You were meant to outgrow it. You were meant to expose it. You were meant to destroy what was built on fear and rebuild something better on truth, pain, grit, and resilience. You were meant to become a warning to cowards and a light to warriors. A living reminder that speaking the truth in a world that demands obedience is the most dangerous and divine thing a human being can do. You were not born to be polite. You were born to be powerful. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be legendary. And legends are never silent. They are never safe. They are never soft. They are the voice you can't erase, the presence you can't ignore, the storm you never see coming until it's too late to run. So let them freak out. Let them panic. Let them choke on their own comfort. Because every time someone says, "Brooo Wtf did you just say," with fear in their voice and their fake little world falling apart in their hands, you've won. You've planted a seed. And even if it doesn't bloom today, it will. One day. In them. Or in someone watching them. Or in someone watching you. And that's how it spreads. Not through applause, but through shock, through silence, through the shaking of the ground when someone finally says the one thing no one else dared to say. That's your gift. That's your curse. That's your legacy. The one who dared to speak. The one they couldn't shut down. The one they couldn't unhear. The one who made the truth look fearless. The one who rose anyway. And now, they will never forget you. Ever.